G'day everybody, my name's Tom Freer and welcome to episode 3 of the AskTomTech show. So today I wanted to share with you some conversations and discussions I've been having with clients and businesses around town in the last few weeks, and they've been pretty interesting topic around protecting business data. So this is not a discussion around backup, and although that is critically important, we touched on that in the first episode, but this is about understanding and protecting the data that people are accessing in real time, essentially. So what we're seeing is we know everyone, we're in a very mobile driven world, so there is people accessing email and data and information from your business from lots of devices. But do you actually know where and who that data is being given to? So, and that's been the topic of conversation recently. So what I've been talking with them about is sort of understanding 3 key areas to get an idea for where they're at. So the first one is understanding where their data physically lies. So is it on servers? Is it on laptops? Is it in the cloud? Is it on websites, customer portals? Really being very clear around where that data actually lives. The second component is understanding who has access to it. Is it secure? How is it petitioned off? How is it permissions applied? When someone logs in, what do they see, what they don't see? And then the third aspect is, where is that data being accessed from? So whether it's from devices on the internal network, like your PCs and laptops inside your network, is it from mobile devices outside your network? Are they company owned? Are they employee owned? All those type of things. So they're the 3 sort of key areas to really focus on and start to look at to get a really good understanding of where that data is. Now, for some, it's not really relevant. It might not really bother you that your employees are able to connect to your email system and access their mail and do all that sort of stuff. It makes the process a lot simpler. It means people are highly mobile and they can get access to that information when and where they need it. But as a business, you really need to understand what data is on that device. What client information is being sent via email that could end up on someone's personal device? Is there company financial information? Are there client records, client details? They're very critical pieces of information that may have larger ramifications on your business if that data was leaked or accessed by competitors or whatnot. So understanding what type of data is moving throughout your organization is pretty critical. And look, we're not saying don't do it, and I'm certainly not saying that, because where we're at, you need to have access to information and your team needs to have access to that information. But certainly be aware. So even today I was having a conversation with a client who's looking to move all their email information from their internal server up to Office 365. So, and one of the questions they asked is, how secure is that data? And look, in all honesty, it's a lot more secure than probably what they're doing now on their internal servers. And what the conversation sort of got to was, well, how do people access that data and what restrictions are there around them accessing it? And look, if they've got a username and password, they can get access to that email, and that's simple as it is. That's the way it is now in their environment, and that doesn't change. But it did get them thinking about, okay, what if we now start saving other information up there? At the moment, we stop people getting access to files and information from outside the network by implementing VPNs and private networks and things like that. But if we start moving data up onto a website and people have the same email login for their email and they can access this data, what is that potentially going to open up? And how do we control where that data is seen from? And it is something to think about. And in this instance, it's not a critical concern right now, but it's something to think about in the future. And getting the platform right will allow you to do that as well. So what I wanted to touch on is what you may have heard around mobile device management. And that's the ability for you to control what information is saved on your mobile devices, be it your iPhone, your Androids, your iPads, or whatever it is. Now, where this comes in quite well is around where you have employees bringing their own devices. And it's not uncommon at all for when someone joins your organization, 99 times out of 100, they've got an iPhone or an Android or something, and they want to get access to their email on it. And that's great. Most of the time, you'll just enable it and away you go. And off they go. They know their username, they know their password. They can set up their email and away they go. But what if you need to control that email? If that person leaves the organization, yep, you can stop them accessing new mail, you can stop them sending email, that's great. But anything they've sent and received in that period of time is saved on that device. So now they've left the organization, that's their personal device, they've gone, you've got no control over that device now, so you can't do anything with it. There could be anything in that information. They could have been emailing themselves, they could have client records in there, those type of things. So how can you combat that? Well, that's where mobile device management comes in. And that's about having a process where devices are managed, enrolled into a process, where you have some visibility about what can and can't be done on that device, and company information can be remotely wiped. So in that instance where they've bought a personal phone in and connected to their email, they would have to abide by whatever policies are in place, and know that their device is managed to an extent. And if they left, we can actually send a command to the phone that will wipe the business component of that email, and it's gone. So they can't access it. So once their account's disabled, we send a wipe command and it'll wipe that company information from their device, but all their personal stuff's all left alone. So that's what the mobile device management does. You can take it a step further with corporate-owned devices, or any device really that might be lost or left in a cab or in the back of an Uber. I've lost my phone. How many times have you left it in a cab? Well, we can ensure that we can remote lock that device, and as a worst case, we can actually fully wipe that device so it becomes a brick. So all that data that was on there is now gone and protected for your business. So that's the discussions we've been having, and it's sort of opening up people's thought process around the type of data that they're sending around, where it's being saved. And as I said, it's not about being a deterrent to doing that. Far from it. It's about enabling that function, but having confidence to enable it, knowing that you've got protections in place should something happen to that device or that employee. So that's where we're at, and it's been good. We've just enrolled a client this week into that process for a subset of users as a trial to see how it works for them. But look, ultimately, it's giving them a lot more confidence and a lot more flexibility in the data that's being accessed by their staff, and they have pretty sensitive data. So it's pretty important to them that they know that that's controlled. So that's where you want to be focused on. So really, it's not a deterrent in allowing people access to your data. Far from it. That data needs to be accessible. So for any business, that data needs to be made available all the time, whether it's email data, files, Word, Excel, whatever it is, needs to be made available. But you need to just understand what that data is, the sensitive nature of that data, who has access to it, and more importantly, where is that data sitting at any point in time. So look at where your data physically lives. It's the first step. Where it lives, whether it's on servers or on laptops or in the cloud. Look at who has access to it. So that's your security context around there. Understand which users or groups of users have access to what types of data. And then thirdly, understand where that data is being accessed from. You need to know if people are able to get to that data from their personal device. And if they are, what's left on that device. So, and to assist and manage that process, look at technology like mobile device management, where we can control and manage who gets access to what data and from what device. It can be as flexible and controlled as you like, and extend it out to cover many aspects in your business. But that's that's probably the main thing. So it's been an interesting week having those discussions, and just really understanding how people see their data and where it sits. So look, mobile device management is the term. MDM, you may have heard, that's what it is. So have a look at it. We're happy to chat through some scenarios with you, and I'll answer them on this forum. So that's it for today. That's all I really wanted to talk to. Would love it if you can send through some more questions. I'm going to continue providing some insight into the discussions I'm having with clients, because I think that's really relevant. But no, feel free, send through your questions, and I'll get them answered. Thanks.